This Senator Natasha suspension is outrageous. Like, especially on a month that was supposed to be celebrating and uplifting women. Instead of using this month to highlight the progress in gender equality in Nigeria, the Senate has done the opposite.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, I want to talk about women and how women in Nigeria is being treated in reference to Senator Natasha and the Senate President of Nigeria. I'm going to break down the story to you guys that are not from Nigeria, that does not understand, but this is a bigger conversation to have as women generally, and especially as women in Nigeria. If you don't know or you're not in Nigeria, let me break it down for you. Presently now, there is this viral conversation that is going on about a senator in the government, senator, yeah, in the Nigeria government in chambers, that is calling out the Senate president out for sexually harassing her. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of backstory. In the Senate, the seats in the Senate, we have 109, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. 109 seats. And guess what? Only 4 of those seats is seated by women. The rest 105 are all men. That's how powerful it is. So now let me bring it back to where this whole conversation and all this petition, because she has been suspended from being a senator for 6 months. 6 months. So apparently what happened was that, according to her, there was something that happened initially about her and the senator, where the senator, they said all she knows how to do is to wear transparent clothing to the chambers and also to wear makeup. That's all she knows how to do. And this really made her to file a motion in the court against that, and that was it. But apparently she noticed that the Senate president has been giving her different type of attitude since after he sexually harassed her, make an advances at her for them to have fun, and she shut it down. So what happened was that, according to her, she said she walked into the chambers where they were supposed to have a hearing and all that, and her seat was changed. And she kind of stood up for it and like, no, why is my seats changed? Da, 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 da. And they said, no, go take your seat. And she invoked a section of their law that allows her to speak, but the Senate president would not listen. And that did not sit well with her. She went all really hard on it, and the Senate president was calling for a suspension. But this also even just fired her even more for this senator Natasha to go on TV, Arise TV, to speak on this. And this is where she allegedly accused the present Senate president of Nigeria for sexually harassing her and making sexual advances at her. And the wake of her doing this, she was suspended from the Senate arms of government of being a senator for 6 months without pay and all that. And this has struck an entire conversation for people to have, because people are saying that it's because she's a woman, that's why it is, because they were like, oh, some people are like, oh, she was being disrespectful talking to the Senate president like that. And mind you, these Senate presidents were talking that the Senate board investigated her allegations against him. He was the one judging the case. He was the one that sat there making it. He was never suspended for even being accused, allegedly, for sexually harassing a senator in the building. He was not suspended or nothing. He was not shut down. He was not queried. He was not summoned. He was not questioned. He was the one that now served a suspension. And guess what? Every other person, the 108 other senators, agreed to it. And this has struck a bigger debate. So in this video, we're going to hear the procedure, or we're just going to give you guys a clip of Senator Natasha speaking up for herself and all that. And this really breaks my heart, because it just seems like we're not even getting a break at all as women in this country. Like even the most powerful women are being belittled, are being shut down, are being told to know their place. Anyway, guys, let's go check out her speak on what has happened so far, and you will hear her tell the story of how she was sexually harassed by this Senate president, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Suspend me contribute to the development of my people, the women of Nigeria, and Nigerians at large.
Order, please.
Dismissed Senator Natasha, please, you are not recognized to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, order 10 on privileges. Order 10 on privileges.
Distinguished Senator Natasha.
Any senator may rise at any time
can the
to
Sergeant
speak
at Arms
upon a matter of
please
privilege suddenly
take her out of the
arising,
Senate.
and he shall be prepared to move without
Okay.
notice.
Okay.
A motion declaring that the content of breach of
Show me
privilege
the
has
session
been
that allows suspension immediately.
The cut off a mic. The cut off a mic.
Please, let me say this, Ayo. You know the situation we see in universities whereby a student is continuously being failed just because she has not slept with the lecturer. That's what I've been facing, in simple terms.
Thank you. Professor Kila.
That is what I have been going through.
Thank you very much,
And
Professor Kila.
now, moving to, should I speak about the nightclub incident?
No, that's okay. Professor Kila will come in now. Thank you.
The second question I ask is, then what transpired on the
Yes.
Senate floor?
Second
and
question,
why is there
sitting
always a
arrangements.
tiff between you and the Senate President? So those are the two. You can put both together.
Of course.
Why is there always a
Now,
fight between you and the Senate President?
Of course. That was on the sitting arrangements. I think it was a Thursday, last Thursday. I walked to the chambers early before sitting. So I signed the book. Please, can I have some water, please? Sorry, travel. Where is it? Oh, excuse me.
Take this part out.
Okay, we'll just wait
I flew all night, so I'm kind of drained. Okay, so
yes, you were
now,
saying, yeah.
the sitting arrangements. I walked into the chambers that morning. I signed my attendance sheet, and I was walking straight to my usual seat, which is the last seat by the door, like at the topmost last seat by the aisle. So, and then I was told by one of the sergeant at arms that, oh, ma'am, that is no longer your seat. You are now sitting at the far end there. And I was like, since when? They said, well, that's what the Senate President instructed. I was like, I was in chambers yesterday, which was Wednesday. I've not been notified. Why did you change my seat? What reason? I'm comfortable here. I'm okay here. I wasn't notified of that. So I was upset. And then I said I refused to move to the new seat. I don't even know what the new seat is. I don't even know the number. I don't know. But they told me it was the last seat, appointed the last seat at the far end. So then the procession came. The president walked in to the seat, and then the rest was shown online. I was already told, by the way, that I should gently move. Some senators messaged me that I should please adhere to the change and move to my seat because that was a trap, a setup. And I was trying to understand what trap, what setup. At that point, the minority leader, Senator Abamoro, walked up to me and he told me, Natasha, please just obey, just go to that seat. And I'm like, no, sir, you are my leader. You should speak for me. I am not aware that my seat has been changed. And I believe I should be given a chance. Maybe they should explain to me why my seat was changed. Maybe I can also explain why, if they could maybe consider leaving me here, that I'm not moving. He said, he pleaded with me that I should please move to the other seat and not explain that we could address it later. And I said, sir, I have hit these chambers. I have complained and you have witnessed several of my privileges, me being maligned several times, and you never stood up for me. So no, I am not moving there because I do not trust that if I move, this matter will be addressed. So I am going to raise it on the floor. That was what I told my leader, who is the leader of the minority, Senator Abamoro. And then he walked. So after that, I was about to be, then the minority whip now read the rules that I have broken the Senate rule by not adhering to my seat change.
Allocation,
and that was when, at the time the Senate president was about to read my seat allocation. At the time the Senate president was about to read, because the next thing he was going to do was to read my suspension because I failed to adhere to that. But he had already made some statements that, Senator, the whip was, hold on. The whip,
yes, it's just that we have to manage.
Had mentioned
Senator
that
Natasha, yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry, but we have to manage our time, and part of the question.
Okay, so so at that point, I knew I had to read Order 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to read Order 10. Now, what is Order 10? Many people don't understand. So now, Order 10 is is an SOS for every senator who feels their rights and privileges have been breached. Yes, so many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate president is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akwa Ibom. And at first, we were at Ikot Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just 3 of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. Like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away, and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate president, too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate president now said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well. So while we were going to the chapel, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate president's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in Ikot Ekpene. And my husband asked me, "Natasha, what did the Senate president whisper to you? What's he telling you?" I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate president. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. When we laid in bed, I looked to my right, and my husband wrapped his arms around me, and he said, "My love, you can't tell me anything. What did the Senate president tell you?" Again, I was like, "Don't you believe me?" I said, "Nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes. Let's just be happy." Then my husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone, and I should not go to the Senate president's house because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, after office to get approvals and all that. So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company. I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that was approved. Many senators can testify to that. Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it. Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before my motion is taken, the time will be well spent. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office. And I said, Senate President, you know how important this Ajakuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it. I was like, sir, please, why can't you take this motion? It's very important. It's been listed. Then it was listed a 3rd time and stepped down. He then said, Natasha, I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me and make me happy. At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this. He said, well, the ball is in your court. I left his office, and when I got home, I told my husband, I didn't tell my husband what happened. I just told my husband, please, can you speak to the Senate President to allow my motion scale through?
Thank you.
One question I have been asked a number of times is, why are the women silent? Why are the 3 other women silent?
Yeah, so why, Senator? Why do you think they're silent?
The day I filed the suit of defamation, the suit that sexualized, whereby the Senate President's SLA on new media, Mr. Patrick Mfong, sexualized me by addressing my attire as being transparent, and that the only thing I know how to do is to wear pancake to the chambers. So when I filed that suit, Senator Ireti Kingibe, hold on, Senator Ireti Kingibe, Senator
Natasha,
and Senator
we're low on time,
3 women
please.
who send messages to me that they do not support the litigation. And none of them have called, apart from Senator Ireti, that called my husband to tell me to withdraw that suit and all that. And my husband charged her that you were the same person who had come to the house to tell him that the ST was hitting on his wife sexually. So why are you now against my wife standing up for her rights? So let me tell you something, Mr. Which nobody knows. No, Mr. Rufai, please allow me to say this, please.
Please go ahead.
Can I say this? Please
yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead, Senator. Please go ahead.
Now, at the nightclub incident, I believe that was not a slip of tongue. That was not a slip of tongue. He has a number of times told me that there are various ways we can have fun. If we travel, he has a way of making the whole the house, the space. He can basically create a party in the space. Do you understand? Like a nightclub in the space and would have fun and all of that. So that nightclub incident statement was not a mistake. It was more like out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. But let me say this. The day before please, Rufai, let me laugh.
Go ahead,
please.
go ahead, Natasha.
Go ahead, Senator.
Go ahead.
Let me speak.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
If you don't want me to speak, I'll walk out and complete this on my Facebook, please.
Please go ahead. We're trying to
Natasha.
manage time, Senator, but go ahead and finish it quickly. We're trying to manage time, but please go ahead.
Petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements. And I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please you, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition.
You may proceed. Distinguished colleagues, this petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct, Ethics and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate as soon as practicable.
Petition.
Any other petition? Yes.
Dear Senate President, may I be given a chance to speak?
The hearing. The mute and mic again. Hey.
Prayer 1. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpabio for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. I put the question. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. How do you amend a prayer that is unanimous? Prayer 2, that for the Senate to consider lifting this suspension or reducing the tenor of the suspension, Senator Natasha Akpabio shall submit a written apology to the Senate before any reconsideration by the Nigerian Senate. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those
A woman speaks and powers feel threatened. She calls for injustice, they silence her. She stands for truth, they push her aside. Natasha Akpabio fought for her seat. They've suspended her, all because she was trying to demand for justice. But let's be clear, this is not just about her. It's a warning to every woman who dares to rise. Natasha is not alone. You can take her seat but not her voice, and you can never silence the truth.
This injustice will not be sustained.
In the case that we forget, let me just drop this so that we can always reference this video as a reminder. We are in March. It is Women's History Month. Today, in fact, is International Women's Day. People are still on the internet defending femicides, defending sexual harassment. Women are still being silenced. Other women are ganging up with men that also hate them, mind you, to attack and silence women that are speaking up, especially in this month of March. And not just random women, women also in power. All of a sudden, all the pick-me aunties and veteran actors that are always ready and up and available to tell women that they are too aggressive or they dress a certain way, blah, 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 are silent all of a sudden. It is 2025, and women are still being told that if they carry themselves a particular way, men will not harass them. It is 2025, and people still want to claim that misandry is a real thing. It is 2025, and when men like me come up to speak up against the violence that women face, we are called words like sissy, woman rapper, and etc. Mind you, by women too. It is 2025, and one idiot is still going to come under this video and talk about, oh, this gender war. When people are losing their life, people are being silenced, people are not even allowed to speak up against the violence that they face every day because they are trying to protect the egos and men in power. It is 2025. If the situations happening right now to other women does not radicalize you after reading and hearing about these things on the internet.
Guys, I'm so angry. I'm not usually someone that comes on here and talks about my opinions or just speaks, but today is a sad day to be a woman in Nigeria. I am so upset, and it has literally like awoken some sort of feeling inside of me because this Senator Natasha suspension is outrageous. This is actually disgusting. It sets such a terrible precedent, like especially on a month that was supposed to be celebrating and uplifting women. Instead of using this month to highlight the progress in gender equality in Nigeria, the Senate has done the opposite. Publicly punishing a female leader in a way that feels so excessive and politically motivated is so disgusting. Like, I don't even know like how to feel, and it's literally just brought back so much traumatic experiences that I've experienced in this Nigeria, especially in a position where I've worked under male authorities. Like, it reminds me of so many things that you're gonna go through living in this country. There's no progress here. Like, and this whole situation is an example of the lack of progress in equality with women. Because how is this even allowed? How? Like, if you're a woman in Nigeria, I'm so sorry, you should be so angry. You should be so angry. This is a day, this whole month, is supposed to be about accelerating action for women's rights. Nigeria is just showing that it's still comfortable with holding women back. She literally made a complaint about harassment in her workplace, something that should have been investigated. They just decided to suspend her. Oh God, I'm so angry. Like, this reminds me of today. This morning, I usually walk to the gym. Like, it's a normal thing. But today, I just decided to extend my walking, like, so I could hit my 10K. So I literally walked on the bridge, then walked to the gym, then I walked to the bank. I did a lot of walking. But as I was walking, my eyes just, like, normally I see everybody that stares at me. It's a normal thing. And I'm just like, why are people staring? Like, maybe they just want to compliment me, or I don't know. Like, this is not even me being arrogant. But people in Nigeria, they stare hard. But today, my eyes was going to every single man that was staring at me. And believe me, it was a lot. And I just personally think, that the way that men stare is the way they think. A lot of the way I was getting stares was in a very lustful and sexual way. I'm not saying every man is like that, but the majority see sexualizing women as a normal thing. Yeah. They weren't looking at my face. They were looking at my body because I saw them. But I was just thinking to myself, like, I've been in so many situations where women are sexualized easily. I think this video is going to probably be taken down because of how much I've mentioned the words, but maybe I shouldn't. But if it doesn't, I just wanted to point out that how much.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thought about this story down in the comment section. But as always, please keep it respectful. Yeah. Okay. Keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. This is a safe space. We're here to have conversation, even though this particular video enraged me and I am so pissed about it. Man, the win here today is something else. I'm so pissed about this video and the entire situation. Let's just keep it respectful. So my thoughts about, like, the entire situation, the entire story about Senator Natasha and the Senate President Akpabio, for me, this is just a definition of where we are at in Nigeria. And a lot of time people tell me, like, oh, Destiny, why do you create videos like this? Why do you make videos like this? Is that still in my society, which is here in Nigeria, where all this is playing at, is that a woman is still considered a fourth class citizen. A woman cannot speak where men are speaking. And the sad and the most heartbroken thing is that they will be backed by other men and even other women. I've said it a couple of times. Here in Nigeria, we have a lot of Nigerian women are pick-me's. I know there are a lot of Nigerian women here on this channel, but I am saying it, I live in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian women are pick-me and they cater to the male and to the male need and ego and all that. And seeing how the other 3 female in the Senate could not even speak up on her behalf, could not even be the little no when he asked for the yay and nay. They could not be that. Rather, they would tell you to keep quiet. And then I hear our president's wife, the first lady of the country, talking about how women, that when she was a senator, she didn't get any form of harassment and all that. You didn't get any form of harassment. I'm talking about the first lady of Nigeria that came to speak on this matter and say, oh, women should carry themselves well so that they don't get sexually harassed. Blaming women for being sexually harassed, even in the Senate. talking about, oh, she was a senator and she never got it. You never got it because your husband was, or your husband is. So who want to touch somebody's wife that the husband is targeting presidency? And trying to compare yourself to other women that are going through it, that this is their reality. And this, or why this whole thing, even for me, it's worrisome for me because the Senate is like, if a powerful woman like Senator Natasha, that can happen to her, who are we? Who are we, the common people? And this, and maybe why this is really very triggering to me is that I experience, will I even call it a sexual abuse, because this man squeezed my boobs. As a young girl in the university, because when you make the ad day, you're talking about exactly the same thing that happened to young girls in the university when, yes, it happens to me. I had this situation where at one point in time, when I was in year one, you know, as a new student, you just came out from high school, you're now in the university, and you are in class. I wasn't used to the new way of how study is going to be, where you're not, they don't write on the board and all that. And some of you guys already noticed I am dyslexic, so study is really hard for me ordinarily. Then the fact that nothing is being displayed, like I can see, you just talk and I write, it was really hard for me in my first couple of weeks in the university. I remember walking to this lecturer class, my first week, second week in university, and he was I didn't get, like I wasn't getting what was going on. Like I was really frustrated, and I went on and I did the kiss it thing, like, and that lecturer heard it, and the lecturer was like, "Who did that?" And I was like, I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. I acknowledged that I was the one that did it. And this lecturer looked at me, and that was it for me. Do you guys know that I failed this lecturer's courses from year 1 to year 4? And guess what? This lecturer became my project supervisor. Generally, let me know if you're in a school in Nigeria. Please confirm this. Do you know I failed projects? Yes, because of that man. This is how much power that has been given. Because a lot of the people are looking at it that, oh, these are big people problem, this is our politicians problem. No, it's happening every day to everyday girl out there. And I remember during my final year, I tried to beg, and like, you know what, they should forgive me, like he should forgive me. And I remember walking into this man's office, this man called my name and my matric number out, my full name and my matric number. And mind you, because of that incident that happened to me on my second week in school, it just made me really shrink. I'm a very loud, expressive kind of person, but you go to my school today and you ask for me in my department, they will tell you that I was one of the most reserved. I don't talk, I don't have friends in the department. I just want to go to school, come out, and I go back to my apartment. That was what I was doing. And this man still, some lecturer didn't even know my name because I was just going on a low key, because I just felt like just first week I already started showing myself. So that just set the tone for my entire school year. And I remember when they said I didn't pass my project, I have to come back and do an extra year, I fell into serious depression, which that's the story of another day, which I was good. But mind, anyway, fast forward, I came back to school to do my the entire courses I failed with that man. Okay, I came back to do it, and they asked me, my HOD at that time asked me to pick a lecturer that I want to be my new supervisor and all that. And I picked this lecturer that I thought had sense. Do you guys know that that lecturer was the one that sexually harassed me? And mind you, I was a tiny little girl. When I mean I was a tiny little girl, I should not even be sexualized because I look like a child. I look like a child, but still that man found a way to, and this is something that has really, like this, I'm talking about me. It happens to me. So hearing Senator Natasha talking about this, and really the way she talks about it, like you just, like if you've experienced it, you know, it just makes sense. Like, yeah, that is exactly how they talk to you. They tell you that, oh, they are going to help you, you are going to have a good time, they are going to make things easy for you, they are going to, especially when they know you need that extra push, you need that confirmation or something. They have the authority to do it. They now want to dangle it in your face and tell you that they are in a place of power. It's something that happens every single day in this country. Even in the tiniest office, it happens. And for me, I'm so happy the fact that a lot of Nigerians and a lot of Nigerian women are not letting this go. Like, people are speaking up on the internet, but the truth is that what I really want to say, I want to see it in a physical reality. People are talking about it on the internet. People are like, oh no, Senator Natasha is going to get justice and all that. What they did to her is not fair. We're having the discourse. But what I'm not seeing in reality is an action. And one thing, like I've said before, a lot of Nigerian women are pick-me women. So I know some of them will come from me, but yes, we are. We're raised that way. We're born that way. We need men. We can't speak women. It's rude. It's being disrespectful. We glamorize the essence of men. And the very few that is able to stand up and say, you know what, I am a human being. I deserve respect. I deserve justice, will be treated like this. I feel like the entire situation they did with Senator Natasha is just to humiliate her. I think it's a humiliation ritual they did just to humiliate her, like, so that to send the message to other women in the Senate or anywhere not to be able to speak up. And in my society, my culture, and this is why I keep referring to it, because sometimes some people are like, oh, why didn't you just go? In my society and my culture, this is something that is so common that if you speak up about it, the person you are even telling is telling you to shush. The person is telling you that you're going to get in trouble for speaking up. The person is going to... Oh, gosh. I really hope that something comes out of this, that this conversation is being head down and we get something very positive about this. And this also helped a lot of Nigerian women to know that they can stand up for themselves and they will get justice. It does not make sense that this man was judging his own case. He's the head lawyer in his own case. Anyway, guys, please go down. I just need to stop here. This video is already long. Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this video down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.